Welcome to Carol's Journey. I'm your host, Carolyn Smith-Malone. Today, we're going to have a conversation with two very, very important ladies here. And we're going to talk about the seniors, particularly the seniors in the Bronx. And I want to welcome you two ladies here, Miss Vicky Owens.
Thank
And,
you.
and Miss Vicky Owens is the representative from Andy King.
Yes.
And she's also on the 1199 board. Let me see, 1199 board. You're on the executive council.
Yes.
Okay. And then we have we have here with us Luciel Ball Wilson, who's on many, many, many different committees. I think I'll list some of the committees. She's vice president of the missionary at the United Christian Baptist Church, the children's Sunday school teacher, superintendent of children. She's a choir member. She's also a member of RAIN, and she's also an advocate for RAIN, and a recording secretary. Okay, I thank you for joining us. Now, one of the conversations we want to talk about the retirees. First, I want to address you, Vicky, about the retirees. What can you tell us about some of the advances and some of the things that are going on with the retirees?
Okay, in the 12th district, we have a lot of activities for the retirees. We have like 27 senior centers that the retirees visit 5 days a week. And some of the retirees, some of the centers have their own transportation, which that is very good, to bring them back and forth, to different activities. And but the thing is that we need more housing for our retirees.
Right.
They seem to think that once you retire, everything is okay, but everything is not okay.
Okay.
When it comes to portable housing, it's too much. What they say portable housing, that's like $1,000 a month or up. And the average retiree, they don't get that. We got some retirees that just get Social Security. They don't have a pension. So they're the ones that left out. So I feel that portable housing for retirees should be no more than $600.
Right.
The highest.
Right.
For them to have food on their table and to be able to pay their rent.
Right. Now, I understand you're also responsible for some of the RAIN centers.
Yes.
What can you tell me about that?
The RAIN centers have very good programs, for the retirees. They have exercise. They also have trips that they give them, so they are going places mostly every day, and I just want to say, since I have joined the 12th district, I've had 2 of the Valentine's Day for the retirees, which was held there at Dreiser Loop. All the politicians, my politician there, my boss, Councilman Andy King, he was there, and some of the others, joined. So with that, even the police department, they gave the retirees roses. They furnished the roses. So everybody just came out in red. So it was just beautiful. And they look forward to that, and then they have also Grandparents' Day. You know, that's one of the big activities that they have there, you know, in Co-op City. You know, so they have wonderful events for the retirees in Co-op City. And I just want to shout out to Senator Bailey. I am so delighted for his senior walk. This is something that seniors do need, that gives them the exercise and whatnot that they need, you know.
Luciel, I understand that you're an advocate with the Grandparents of America.
Grandparents around the world.
Yeah. And what do you do there?
Well, I'm part of their social media outreach, okay? This past May, we had the Grandparents Ball. We had several honorees. We also had Dr. Anderson Torres as an honoree. We had Dr. Goldstein from the NAACP as an honoree. 2 years ago in May of 2017, I was also an honoree. This past Sunday, we had a national holiday. A lot of people don't know that the second Sunday in September on the calendar is called National Grandparents' Day. We had that event at Bay Plaza in Co-op City. And the lady responsible for that, who got President Jimmy Carter to officially make it Grandparents' Day, her name is Doris Williams. Okay, she's an advocate for that. And we like to put this out so children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren can know that if it wasn't for grandparents, like it says, it takes a village to raise a child. If it wasn't for grandparents and great-grandparents, they're the backbone of the family. Sometimes they want to put us in the corner in the shelter, or sometimes they don't want to listen to us. But we built this country. We're the strongest people in the nation. A lot of people say, oh, she's just a little old lady. Oh, she's just a senior. Well, I'm one of those little old ladies. I'm a senior and a great-grandparent, and my voice is heard because it takes the pen. Remember, it's mightier than the sword.
Okay. Now, one of the questions I'd like to ask, I'd like to expound on, at least have a conversation. We talked about seniors, and we talked about affordable housing. And I want to know, or are you aware of any kind of activities along with housing?
Okay. With the RAIN organization, we have this outlet place in Rain Parkchester. It's called Rain One Stop. They help with housing. But me as a senior and as an advocate, I also help with housing because I'm connected to New York City Housing Connect. And what I do, I give workshops, I give lectures. I go around and I have all this information on me. Sometimes some people say I carry too much junk. In my bag, I have applications for all the housing. And if I see someone on the bus or talk with someone, they say, oh, I remember you. You're with Green, right? Well, you know what? I have a problem. I'm looking for housing. I said, I'm glad you said that. Because in this briefcase, I have just what you need. I take it right in the middle of the bus. And I share this information. I go to Brooklyn. I go to Harlem. And they know me as the Rainbow Lady who has all the information in her bag to help them get housing.
Okay.
Okay.
Vicky, what can you tell me about the housing for the seniors?
Okay, this would happen with the seniors in the 12th district. As you know, we have a lot of people in the 12th district that has private houses, okay? So seniors rent from them. Maybe they stayed there for the next, 5, 10 years. And then you find out that they have a relative that's coming, from the islands or wherever they're coming from, and they need the apartment. So that throws the senior to have to look for apartment. And it's very hard at this time. We have a agency called Home Base. We have Home Base 1, Home Base 2, and Home Base 3. It is so many people now that is looking for apartments that it is full. Okay? I'm trying now to get, it's a senior that lives in the district. Her daughter has lupus. They live in a basement. I'm trying desperately to get her out of there. But it's no, if you call or you get appointment, it's nothing there. Because they'll tell you, okay, as soon as we find something. But it's something that needs to be looked into because quiet as it kept, we have seniors that is homeless, that live in the shelter, and I know it for a fact.
Okay.
So something needs to be done.
Right. You know, I understand that you're an author, and I saw your book called The Calamity Daughters.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about that?
Well, the book is about 6 women in there that went through domestic violence, adoption, uh, death at an early age, not knowing their parents, and we have one lady in there that her domestic violence, she was shot in the head and she survived. And she was able to tell her story. My story is also in there. I was a widow at a young age of losing my husband, and I was left with my, sons to raise them. At that time, I was in my union, I was working and whatnot, and my union was my strength because of doing the campaigns and going back and forth, and that was helped me to move on, to the point where I'm at now. And this book that's out there, Clement's Daughter, it's a story in there for every woman that have went through this. I have a younger sister, Dr. Yvonne Kitt, which is one of the authors, and she tells her story, how she felt when we lost our mom. She was only 2. So she grew up without ever knowing mom. So she tells her thoughts and whatnot, in that book. So it's a good book, and you can find it at Barnes and Nobles, and you can also find it at Amazon. Amazon, if I'm pronouncing it right, you get tired tongue with that one. But it's a book that I ask everyone to, take a look at it.
Okay.
And I think you'll love it.
Okay. Well, we're going to break now and go on to the next segment. I want to thank you ladies for coming on my show and sharing some information about the retirees.
Thank you for having us.
Real seniors, real concerns.
Biggest concern, I would say, is making it to the next day.
The economy is my concern.
Will we outlive our money? Medication. That's the most important thing.
I don't make enough to pay for medical insurance.
Rent is really more than some of us can afford.
Social Security certainly does not go up at the rate of inflation, or certainly what I need it for.
You do without a lot. You do without a lot.
If we just could get some help that we desperately need.
And nobody comes to tell us what our rights are, what we should expect, what we can fight for, and we really should have it.
If I could get any kind of information that would help other seniors, I would let them know. I would let them know.
For information, contact the Senior Citizens League at 1-800-333-8725 or seniorsleague.org.
Why should I vote? Nothing ever changes. The system is rigged. Why bother? Whether you're trying to get dinner on the table after working a double shift, dropping baby off with grandma, or studying for exams, voting can feel like the furthest thing from your mind. You might even feel like it's just not worth it. But that's exactly what some people want you to think. The truth is, when we stay home, things stay the same or they get worse. But when we all vote, we get new ideas and new energy. We get leaders who share our values and listen to our voices. That's how we change America. And that's why it's so important to register right now and vote this November. And in every election, go to whenweallvote.org or text We All Vote to 97779 to get started, and know that your vote will make a difference. Be sure to get registered and get to the polls on November 6th.
open up more housing that goes by our income. $197 a month won't pay the rent.
Welcome back to Carol Journey TV. I'm your host, Carolyn Smith-Malone, and I want to welcome our new guest, Mr. Keith Johnson. And one of the things we need to talk about is your assessment of the political landscape of today and everything. First of all, Mr. Keith Johnson is a member of 1199 and probably involved in some other activities I'm not aware of at the present time. But welcome, Keith.
Welcome, thank you.
Right. Now, what's your assessment of the political landscape?
The assessment of the political landscape is that I'm a Democrat, and the present administration is not serving the country well. But at the same time, too, is we as the citizens have not woken up or not educated to what's going on. They don't know the laws. They don't know how the structure of government work. And it's a problem because the president has committed many things, many violations of the Constitution and such. And the Congress, because it's a split Congress, for folks don't know, you have the judicial and then you have the legislative. So you have the Senate and then you have the House of Representatives. So the Senate is Republican and the House is Democratic.
Right.
So the Democrats are trying to bring attention to what's going on, but the
Yes.
president is being protected by the Senate and Mitch McConnell and in the Department of Justice.
Right.
So saying all that, we're trying to get together, even though we're here in New York State, we're together politically under the leadership of Governor Cuomo, but we're all being affected by that. And we need folks to come out and vote.
Right.
And it's not only voting, we need folks to get out town hall meetings and get vocal about it.
Right.
And you're gonna have to get to the streets, part of
Right.
that.
Right. Well, can you tell me about some of the activities that have been done in terms of getting out to vote?
Well, part of the activities is like right here in New York, in the borough of the Bronx, they're holding town hall meetings with elected officials so they can educate the communities about what's going on. There are internets, social media with allowing the membership through 1199 to know what's going on. Overall, about the citizenry, you have the cable networks. If a lot of folks don't watch the news, unfortunately, but in these times you have to watch the news.
Right.
So that's the way to get it out. But like your show, this is another way of getting out the information.
Right.
Because for folks who don't know it, the paper newspapers are not as effective as it was back when we were growing up. I was born in 1958. So back in those days, from the 58 to the 90s, you had the Daily News, the Times, the Washington Post, and you had these different newspapers that would go out and people would read the newspapers, but the circulation of the newspapers is not the same. So a lot of folks depend on their cell phones now to get the information, but you don't know where you're getting the information from the cell phone.
Right, exactly.
Cell phone don't talk back to you.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't talk back to you.
Right.
And sometimes the information you get from the cell phone is not always correct.
Correct.
Because we've had some major breach in terms of the cell phone, in terms of the Russian intervention and trying to sway people to think a certain way.
Correct.
So that's one of the things that we have. So people don't know which way to go with the cell phone.
Yes.
Media is a good thing,
Right.
but it's also a bad thing too, because you're getting a lot of false information about some of the activities that are going on. So folks don't know which way to go
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
everything.
Right.
Now, what are some of the things that the union has done in terms of the voting registration and other activities?
Well, 1199 is very involved. We have members. 1199 is over several states, including New York, New Jersey, Maryland, D.C., and Florida, and Massachusetts. So we're very much involved in those areas. We have members that are going out, getting involved in the council elections, statewide elections,
Right.
and we go into little think tanks or whatever like
Right.
that, and we go to the meetings and we involve ourselves into
Right,
that
right.
process.
Okay. Well, one of the activities I think that we should be involved in is the parent-teachers meetings in terms of reaching out to the young people who are getting ready to vote. I know that New York State has passed a law, I believe, where you can do pre-registration and everything.
Correct.
And not only the pre-registration, we have, they also passed a law where you can send in or you can vote offline now.
Correct.
You don't have to be disabled or anything to be able to vote offline. Anybody can do it now and everything. So, that's one of the things that I think, me personally, I think that we need to concentrate on the parent teachers associations or the different associations dealing with the youth and to get them to come out and vote. Now, one of the things I also want to mention, I know with the Obama campaign, I was very much involved in that. When we did the campaign over in Philadelphia,
Yes.
and we had the hip hop committee to come out and everything to get involved. I haven't heard anything that they have done lately.
Right.
Are you aware of anything that they're doing?
Well, it's early.
Right.
And what I mean by that, the general election and primaries and all that doesn't really start taking place until 2020.
Right.
But there have been very much different issues that the hip hop generation has been involved in. There's Beyonce. You may not consider hip hop, but she does donate.
Right.
Jay-Z, he's involved. Black Lives Matter has been involved.
Right.
There's different organizations that has been involved. You got to just see in social media, they don't publicize it
Right.
because of they feel that they may get the backlash of it.
Right.
But more so, these conversations have to happen in the barbershops, the beauticians, all these areas, walking on the street, just as you said, going to the schools, but in the schools, they don't really allow you to have the conversation unless you're part of the student body.
Right.
But yes, these conversations have to happen. You have to
Right.
go out in the street, get a leaflet, and just go out there and just state what, let folks understand what's at risk. And I
Right.
think what happened is right now we're in the status quo. And one of the biggest challenges that is happening overall is that the United States is 50 states, thousands of cities. So everybody feel comfortable. They have their own state of mind, that they feel comfortable where they're at in their state, in their city, so they feel they're not affected. But one thing I would bring forth was affecting all of us is this global heating, global change. It's a big thing. And then one of the things that just came out on the media, on the survey, was saying that 70% of Americans are blaming the president about not addressing the issue about climate change.
Right.
We just went through it just recently.
Right.
Right? You see what happened in the Bahamas. There's other
Right.
storms that's brewing up.
Right.
And this is affecting all of us. Matter of fact, there's going to be a major demonstration in Foley Square next Friday. The students are organizing an international boycott on
Right.
climate change.
Right.
So these things are the things that will bring attention to what's going on.
Right.
Because when the president was inaugurated, there was a national outcry of women across the world that came out.
Right.
Unprecedented.
Right.
So there are things that is happening, but just like you and me, I'm on Facebook, right? I put my little comments out there. I
Right.
was part of that hip hop thing. I'm a DJ, you know, and I kind of let the nations know
Right.
what's going on.
Right.
You know, because folks need to understand what's going on. It's not just about African Americans, about people of color. It's about all of us. This
Right.
is about this younger generation.
Right.
If they don't understand what's going on, they'll never know what's going on.
Right.
Just like you had your previous panel here, those sisters been there, done that. They came with a lot of knowledge. So we got to go out and we got to reach out and touch those younger ones and make them understand what the history is and how it can just be eradicated.
Right. Okay. Yes. Well, I want to thank you for your input and everything, and we got to give you. We got to find out about your. You have a website.
Yes. I'm Keith Mo Johnson on Facebook, and I can be reached at Keith DJ Mo at optimumonline.net.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
I want to thank you very much for coming on my show and bringing us important insight of what bringing in your expression, your sentiment, and information about some of the current some of the current things that's happening in our political picture.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Carolyn, for inviting me.
Okay,
and,
then.
We love your show.
Okay. I want to thank you for watching my show, Carol Journey TV, and I'm your host, Carolyn Smith-Malone. Goodbye.